Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, the 2nd of August, 2022, and it is really early. I'm usually up before 6 a.m., and it's already, there's already people on the heritage site behind my home, and so I hope that this doesn't get really loud again, which is why I usually try to get my videos out and published before 7 a.m. and why usually I just like wing it too, right? Because like I don't really have like the time or the ability to like check over things. And then during the days, even like later on through the nights, it's always very, very loud. So like even stuff that I've shared on my Instagram, all my windows and stuff like that were closed, and you could just hear so much of the heavy equipment, the explosions, the whistles, like the blasts and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's just too much with the noise in the background. But and so that's been a little bit much to deal with for the last few months, especially since it was never supposed to be touched. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do with these stone buildings, because they can't just take them down like they would other houses, right? And so it's just a mess, and so needless as well. But anyway, I'm probably only like more impacted by this because for the last 2.5 years, this pandemic, I've been in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and we had and still do have such strict mandates and enforcing of the jabs. So the majority of the population, at least that's what's alleged, are jabbed, and right away. It was a little delayed for Canada, but that, again, that was part of the that was part of the plan in order to like make us want it or desire it even more, right? Like when people are make decisions based on fear, that profits, again, like the people that have been profiting off of our fear and our naivety now for the last couple hundred years, and I have unfortunately and not willingly lost friends, like even in this area in the last 2.5 years, because of the choices that I made to not be vaccinated, to share information on from multiple sources, debunking the information they were trying to send me, or not sending me any information, just quoting CNN or CTV or CBC. And I was telling them maybe you shouldn't because of the following reasons. They are just speakerphones for people that have like sinister agendas. And then I'm called a conspiracy theorist or a white supremacist or all these other ridiculous, or a Holocaust denier. That's the new one. Like I just can't anymore. And that one too, it was literally a guy that's like ex special forces, and so like I'm not gonna call out his name obviously, but I've tried for the last few years to give him information, and he does work in multiple different areas, and doesn't have a fucking clue about life, and I've been trying to share so much information, and again, just like refusing to look at it, and then saying I disagree. But I'm like, do you disagree, or are you just not looking at the information? And then I get ghosted for days or weeks, and then I try to push more information because I'm like, oh, like now more mainstream media, now CTV is getting more of the information, so now maybe he's like gonna change his tune, and then it's never been the case. And even now, I shared a really good documentary with an interview that has David Irving in it, and then he accused him of being a Holocaust denier too, and I'm like, okay, cool. In what part of this did he say anything that goes against what happened? Like I don't think there's any parts in here at all. And so again, like now you look again even more ignorant because like you're not even clicking the links to even listen to like an hour long video, even if it's on 1.5 speed. So get through it faster, and instead character assassinate. And even on Signal, like there are groups that I'm dealing with that I've tried to share that information or other information, and then instead of people clicking on the link, this like visceral response is immediately to character assassinate. So like that's literally so yeah, so I sent something. It was very good. And I sound like Trump right now. It was very good, it was very excellent, it was tremendous. But anyway, and then immediately this girl that just wanted to debunk it, it was on the Flat Earth stuff. It was on Eric Dubé, and so she gave me this thing, and it was just literally an article, again, like a CTV article, and like it's basically essentially what it was, but like character assassinating Eric Dubé, and then saying like anyone that believes in the Flat Earth, like it's just idiotic. And I'm just like, oh my god. So like how do you like this is what I mean, like even in like small channels or groups, like on social media apps, like these, like where I can find like small platforms to discuss bigger things, like even in those groups, like again, like it's so divisive, and people just refuse to even look beyond like the narratives that I guess like the higher ups want to project on people. And Jordan Peterson's gone through this character assassination stuff too, and so has Joe Rogan. So have many people, and it's usually people that when they want to spread awareness on things that will get heads of organizations like in trouble that are profiting off of this stuff, then they're the ones that are censoring them, right? And then we do it ourselves too. So like even with this guy that I'm talking about, without even looking at the interview and seeing that he was making really good points about well, not good points, he was making very important points about the Nuremberg trials and what London did with the Americans and what Russia did and Germany, and just how much more convoluted and backed by like the leaders that we don't believe wanted to cover things up. Like there was a lot of cover-ups with like people like with Americans and with Brits as well, and crimes against humanity and putting in like rules and laws like in like 1944 just before trials and not putting your own on trial either. Anyways, there's just like so much like information that he wanted to spread, and because of that he's getting character assassinated, and I don't understand it because God, like I'm just going through my notes, sorry. Yeah, so what he was saying was wars is just a continuation of politics through other means. And then he was even saying that the person that was like that was running or leading the Nuremberg trials, which was Justice Jackson, like he wasn't qualified, he wasn't remotely like experienced in this stuff, and like he was groomed by people like Robert Jackson, J.P. Morgan, Roosevelt, Truman. Like these were all people that he was affiliated with, and was just like a mouthpiece for. And he's the one that like oversaw like these trials. And again, there was a lot of misleading information. There was a lot of information that was not shared because of the level of involvement and atrocities committed by or knowing about atrocities that could have been prevented by, again, higher ups and intentionally creating these wars to profit from. Okay, and so. And he, by the way, he died in a hotel, in the arms of a prostitute. And I don't mean to laugh at that, but again, this is when you look at the morals and values and ethics of people. This is more important, oftentimes, than what they know, because people can learn, right? And I've done like a lot of handovers too, like when I've left certain positions in certain jobs, and so as long as the person was open and receptive and flexible, then it was always like a really good transition. And so and a lot of things learned if people are open to it. And so, but yeah, anyways, this guy, and so and even his son, by the way, also died in kind of like the same type of way. And so, like, cool, I guess. Like, come on, guys, like. And by the way, even Stalin wanted a trial, and it was others that didn't want to have trials, and then they made a mockery of them. And yeah, it's yeah, even the way like discharging enemy personnel, and like the Brits turning them over to the Americans and stuff like that. And like this was this is all like, again, like not kosher, not legal, not part of like what they created, like these like the Geneva Convention and stuff like that. Hello, puppy. I just realized in my last video, I think I was like holding and turning my cup through the whole video, and I didn't take one sip. You're so cute. This is my doggy. Anyway, that was a little flip. But I'm not going to redo this video because I'm already over 8 minutes into it, and I want to go over some other notes. Yeah, where are we going with this? Oh yeah, so I was looking more into like stuff that happened in the 1890s, just a continuation of yesterday, and like the Ouija board was created then. Van Gogh committed suicide then. There was apparently like a lot more graves like during that period, and like there's not a lot in like older places that were before that. Yeah, like there's so many different things. And where did I want to go with this? Sorry. Oh, because I wanted to talk about geomagnetic storms, and how there have been multiple ones throughout history, and it's usually like every few years to every like 30-ish years that there's these geomagnetic storms that impact us more than like the regular typical ones that happen throughout various years and during different solar cycles, or whatever you want to call it, that are, you know, usually around 11 years. Again, this is like sacred geometry, or whatever you want to call it again. With numbers, which is like why, again, like the number 11 is sacred in like the more like more ancient religions and cults and other organizations that that idolize the sun and stuff like that too. So again, like the number 11 being, I'm assuming because of because of that as well, because there's a lot of connection with astrology, astronomy, esoteric stuff, theosophy, like in like a whole bunch of other like multiple like scientific different departments, whatever you want to call it. So if you haven't heard of Rudolf Steiner, I would highly recommend listening to a lot of his books. He does a lot of stuff on occult and the Masons, and just discusses how we can like I guess like access to higher levels of consciousness or awareness, and how like we have to like factor in things like the mind, body, and soul, like the soul. And so like not like Aristotle, like it's not just like materialistic. We are metaphysical. We have to go beyond that, and a lot of our leaders don't, which is why we need to have more of these like metaphysical, philosophical leader types, like trying to give it an example. I can't even, like maybe Plato, I guess, right? Because like, he still transcended that stuff and wasn't like the one that was like more materialistic like Aristotle, like I was saying. And he and many others like him, they were the ones that promoted and created this division of classes more, and justified slavery and inequality and stuff like that, and justified, I guess, manipulating and monopolizing on people's, again, like naivety, because they had information and they keep information from us, from like advanced technology and advanced rooms and infrastructure and facilities and stuff like that. They keep this stuff away from us, and they have for many, many, many years, and then they justify it because they're just like, how do they believe all this stuff? Like, do they not have eyes? Like, so like they deserve it. And so, and even this flat earth stuff. But again, like people, when they want to give me arguments on like this globe earth, they're not giving me strong enough arguments either. So like even yesterday, like someone was asking me like, oh yeah, you believe in flat earth? Well, have you ever been in a plane? I'm just like, oh my God. Like, did you look at the link? That's what I mean. They're commenting on links that I share. So I'm like, did you even look at this 3-minute video that I shared that show that the concave lens and the fish lens, blah, 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 on planes are what causes the curvature? It's an optical illusion. It's in cameras, it's in scopes and all these other things. And like, I'm like, and I've also been hanging outside of helicopters, honey. You know what I mean? And like, and I'm seeing the freaking horizon. And again, like even like more we go up or whatever, it's still like I'm not seeing any curve or any of that stuff. And again, we have not gone beyond 300 miles above this earth plane or whatever you want to call it. So lies. and just like stopping, like I don't know, like it just like these things bother me, I guess, a little bit more than they should. Having more eclipses throughout the year that make no sense depending on the location of the moon. This is something too that I've tried sharing for years, and everyone just like, again, like, conspiracy theorists. Well, you're a racist. Like, oh my God. You're emotionally unstable. Cool. Yeah, okay. Like anyway, I'm frustrated because day after day for 2.5 years, I have tried to maintain my sanity in Ottawa, Ontario, being alone, going through a breakup with someone that was not woke, and it was just like that would have been more of a struggle again through all this, at least. Just like having that separation at least was, even though I was alone. But like, yeah, even having like Smokey like helped, but again, it was a lot of work, and there was a lot of restrictions, a lot of like mandates, and even going out to dog trails, like those were getting more and more impacted, and then just people that were just not like that were like wearing masks or like talking about boosters or like all of these other things, and just like love Trudeau, like all like I just and even the like the mayor of Stittsville, like I've seen him on the trail before too, and doesn't even want to talk to people. and I've emailed him multiple times as well, and like with giving him data, and again, he doesn't respond. And so like maybe I'm gonna put him in the title again of this and like see if he actually, maybe I'll follow up. But yeah, so I just wanted to get on and discuss like so many different things happening in China right now. They're halting mortgage payments in areas like in 45 different provinces, I believe, and like I think that we're being misled into thinking they're as powerful as they are. I think they're going to be imploding soon, because this is how socialist communist countries eventually end up, and we've seen through this like this staged planned pandemic, and through what they've been doing since that as a distraction, that yeah, like I mean, things are gonna have to change, right? And I hope it's not this far right ecclesiastic kind of like extreme that we usually go through as well, and what I would prefer not to happen in places like Canada either, because this is where I live. uh, God, there's so many freaking notes. um, yeah, so just like thinking like in the next few months, there's gonna be even more anxiety, more misinformation, more people trying to cover things up, and more excuses for things. Like even CDC, like what they came out with monkeypox. By the way, the chimpanzee adenovirus that's in the other therapeutics, like this is also something that could be like where you went for one therapeutic and then you got injured, or like another illness was spread to you, or a disease by virtue of whatever was in that therapeutic. And that happens a lot, and it's happened with polio, and it's happened with swine flu, and it's happened with like you name it. And this is how these people that are part of the pharmaceutical companies and the real estate companies, all that stuff, like this is how they keep us stuck, right? And again, there have been people that are experts in their fields: cosmonauts, astronauts, pilots, scientists, doctors, lawyers, like the ones that are actually brave enough to speak out on this stuff. They're trying to speak out on this stuff and get like and get people to understand like what's going on, and the reason why I talk about flat earth stuff, like I keep on saying, is because if we don't get on board with that, or more people on board with that, and just try to at least explore more of what people like Eric Dubay are putting out there, and also looking at like old like again scientists and physicists and people from like ancient times, like that predate like Charles Darwin and these liars, because they're liars. They're liars. Like there's no we are on a stationary plane. Anyone that wants to tell me that gravity is what's keeping me like stuck to this earth, and that I could possibly be upside down, yeah, in this like rotation period, because of like how like it spins and rotates and stuff like that. Like these are lies, people. Like when we talk about things like falling, it's based on mass through space, right? And whatever that space may be comprised of is also like largely dependent on if something floats, like hydrogen or helium, things like that, or if things fall, like apples. Okay, so just think about it, people. Come on, please. Like, and then when they like, this is literally how they're justifying this like us being like pulled to the ground. And it's not true, especially when there's other things that have stronger forces that would counteract that, right? And again, like, what do you do when you're in a hot air balloon, or like when your feet are off the ground, or like anyways, it's just ridiculous to me. And then so much more too. Like I already talked about the eclipses. I've already talked about like being able to see the moon and the sun, and like just like how they often look at, like, especially the moon, like translucent or opaque or whatever you want to call it, and a little bit of dirt from the dog. Anyway, you can see things like like from behind it, and so like that also leads me to believe that these are reflections based on objects that are in other areas and that are closer than what we are being led to believe, and then so many different things to look at, like vanishing points and the horizon, and I could literally go on, and I really hope that people do start looking more into this stuff, because once we unpack that, then we can also look at the fact that like even dinosaurs didn't exist, or possibly didn't exist, because like there's been no full complete fossils that have ever been discovered, and there's been a lot of fakes put out there anyways, and like they're only like assuming what things look like or would possibly be like based on like very small parts of like like these bones or whatever that they find. And again, like, are they fake, are they not? There's no museums or places in the world where there's any real dinosaur bones. With their 3D imprints, or like whatever you want to call it, and they say that they have the other, like the real things, like preserved and stored, in like in places where we can't see it. So again, like, why? These are all interesting. And then, like, again, I've talked about this in videos in the past. I don't know if these are the ones that got removed or not. I'd have to go through my videos, but even like looking at our fuel sources, and like there's a lot more to factor in, because like what we're being told about our oil and gas, and like how it's refined, and how it's, and like what it's like what the properties are, like the components of it, and all these other things we're also being like lied to about that as well. And like in Canada, we do have, like major oil, possible contributors that can make us be more reliant on our own resources, which would be great. And but also that comes with like a lot of things to consider too, regarding the environment, like the impact, like for generations to come. And then yeah, anyways, I can go on all these tangents. But like I wanted to keep it short and just say that it's been a hard 2.5 years, because like even in the last 24 hours, like people that are still in government that I've worked with for like many years, they're still um, pushing the information away, and then ultimately pushing me away too, right? Because like like I can't, like I don't know how to work with or be around people, unfortunately too, that are willfully being like refusing to like discuss really important things, or look at material that goes against like what they've been led to believe for so many years. And it's because they are terrified of being wrong or having their ego, questioned or challenged. But I would argue, like, we all need that. And I've had my ego smashed so many times, right? Like I believed in these things too at one time, right? Because again, this is like the education systems that we're all like part of, and like the mainstream media and stuff like that. Like it's all like the same stuff. And but yeah, so I wanted to talk about Italy too, and how there's possibly going to be some kind of like a civil war coming soon, because they're considering subsidizing food, which is a terrible idea for so many reasons, but also because it makes an imbalance, right? When you have like one group that where there's something that's subsidized, where they get it for cheaper, then there's going to be other people that are like not like that are going to have to do more or have less or whatever, and they don't like that stuff, and it causes like intentional division, and then more distractions, and then more people that are part of like political parties, like they're more in the news, so like they feel more validated and important, because like there's things going on. This is what I mean. Politicians love to create suffering for us, because like it makes them important. Like it's so messed up, and then it gives them more money, and it gives like the people that they're aligned with more money, right? So like when I'm talking about war, like they're connected with the military industrial complex is part of the pharmaceutical industrial complex, part of like the real estate, part of like the weird like human trafficking stuff as well. And yeah, and there's people out there that are listening to people like Bill Gates, who've been to Epstein Island multiple times, and it's just disgusting to me, and so many other leaders like Biden and like the Clintons, and and people love them, and I'm like, really, like I don't understand how people can support people like that. Like I don't like, and even with CNN, like the people, like the heads of the CNN and the speaking people, and so many other like mainstream suckers, shills, whatever you want to call them. They're intentionally like I don't know, harming us. Yeah, so many notes, and I just don't know where to go with this. Yeah, like I really hope there's no like bank collapses that come in and fall because of like how we're managing things in that area as well. And there's even some countries too where they're looking at like they're not able to access their savings and stuff like that. The banks are refusing to allow them to access money, and it's like yeah, it's not the way we are supposed to be doing things. And I just forget what country it was in. It might have been it might be someplace in China, but like don't quote me on that. So I will get them on the next one, because I have a lot of notes here on Italy and China too that I'm looking at. And even yeah, Ray Dalio. So if anyone's listening to that guy, he's a shill. He doesn't know anything about anything, and he is literally talking about like China being like the next superpower, all this stuff. And I don't know anymore. They do hold a lot of resources in a lot of places, but I don't know if it's so much them or like the UN or like they're the people from there that don't live there and don't plan on ever like being there or aligning with them. Anyway, I don't know. I've already talked about Justice Jackson. Yeah, you know what? I think that I'm rambling on about a whole bunch of things. Because, I don't know. I think there's going to be some kind of great reveal or whatever coming out in the fall. I don't know what that is. Like, maybe this is going to be them saying, we've got any therapeutics that we've been using. Like maybe people are gonna like finally admit that they've been wrong and like just like stop with all of this craziness. But that's obviously that's going to upset a lot of people, right? Like when they realize that like something was like altered and manipulated and clearly leaked and then sensationalized and then a therapeutic, that was already created and stockpiled, utilized that caused harm to so many different people and intentionally so, and then so many other things that have been intentionally done in order to create suffering for people and justifying it. Justifying it too, and being totally okay with it. I don't know. Maybe flatter stuff. Maybe more stuff on that. Will flat holographic Earth, right? Because I still believe that this is a simulation, and but like this kind of like a flat plane with heavily impacted by toroidal fields and these like luminaries above us that are not planets, that are globes like we are seeing, and there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of like different designs and stuff like that actually show like a more accurate projection of what these luminaries look like, and it's definitely not what NASA is saying. And I will repeat, everything is CGI. It's sci-fi, and none of their videos, none of their live streams, none of their it's all, we're all being lied to, and yeah, it's just like really frustrating, and like it seems that like these things have like 7, 3. And there's different like designs for like different luminaries and stuff like that too. But like when people are actually zoom in, like this is like more what they're seeing with the different things above us. And then again, when you look at the constellations again with like the Sirius North Polaris star, whatever you want to call it, and then like the perfect like rotation of the constellations and stars above. Like this also, like more arguments that lead to like this being like a stationary flat plane and with a firmament or dome above, with things being reflected on it, and yeah. Anyway, I know I go from like pandemic to freaking flat Earth to like like Holocaust stuff, like all weird, but yeah. And the reason why too, I put out these videos is because I do hope that people in government are listening. And that they possibly would like to discuss like the way ahead. I don't know, but also because it's a good way for me to like maintain my sanity, right? Because like there's oftentimes like days or weeks that have and still go on by where like I don't have any human contact, and it's not by choice. It's because well, I mean, I guess it kind of is too, but I'm being like pushed away, right? Because again, like the vaccine status, me going against mandates, me being more of a flat simulation earther now, and so many other things, like talking about it, like even with like the military, like pushing back on like these standards and like the dress codes and how like there's like we're making things so much worse than that, like it shouldn't be this way, right? And how we're like we're making everyone into a victim, and when we need to have like a strong military, especially like for coming times, it's just like it doesn't make me have a warm and fuzzy, right? Like I don't feel like I'm being defended in my own country, right? When I look at like CSIS and CSEC and global affairs and like the special forces and like multiple levels of government, like the UN and NATO, and that I know people personally in all of these like different departments, and I'm sharing with them information, and they're not even looking at it, or they're coming back with like the complete opposite without looking at it, then or just completely ignoring me, then I just I don't know what to do. Yeah, life used to be so much easier when I just played the game too, right? Like even with the drinking, it was to shut my brain off, right? And just try to be able to like be around people, I guess, in a way where like I just didn't have to think about things or like listen to conversations. And I don't mean that in a rude way. It's just like yeah, like when you think completely freaking differently than literally everyone you know, and every family barbecue or every event or every meeting or every committee or every workforce you go to, like even the fucking small talk, you know what I mean, at the dog trail even, like it's just like, but even with exes, like, or with like just like every single day, like just giving me your weight, like okay, or just like talking about working out 24 hours a day. I don't know, just I don't know what to do, but I know that again, like there's people out there like me and maybe someday we'll have our, our I don't know, our day in the sun or whatever you want to call it, and like actually like finally have people like understand where we're coming from. And the sad thing is, the sad reality is, until CNN and CTV start telling the truth about like this stuff, like with the pandemic and with the therapeutics and with the with so many different things, world events. Oh my God. And then even with the flat earth stuff, then these people will finally come around, right? And then I would expect that they may, finally reach out to me again saying like, you were right or whatever, and like I don't know what to do about that. Do I forgive? Do I forget? Like what do you do? Like when for years you've tried to get information out, and then as soon as CTV throws the message out, like then you believe it? Like really? Oh my God. Yeah, so I don't know. I hope that day comes. But there are people that have already passed away, you know what I mean, who believed in like a lot of this stuff too, and they didn't get to live to see like the day where this stuff came out. So I do hope that I do experience that. But if I don't, then I do have to understand that like that's been life for hundreds, if not thousands of years, anyways, for a lot of people. And yeah, on that note, I hope that everyone has a wonderful day.